Okay, so I think we'll get started with today's webinar. Um, so thank you everyone for joining this. A very warm welcome who have joined the webinar today. So today from Covion, we are going to talk about streamlining the supplier invoice to payment with best practices, right? So in this webinar, we will walk you through the complete supplier invoice processing journey, right from the intelligent document recognition to timely payments and accurate period close. Thereby, you can empower your finance teams with greater control, real-time visibility, and improved decision making. So that is the agenda for today, and it's my pleasure to welcome your speaker for today, Gautam S. And I would like to introduce myself. This is Pushpalata, and I'm your host for today. And speaker for today is Mr. Gautam, who has got vast experience in implementations and support engagements on the Oracle Fusion ERP applications. So, Gautam, over to you. And during the end of the session, at the end of the session, we would have a question and answer session wherein we would take all your questions. And meanwhile, if there is any queries, you could also use the chat box to type in your queries. Over to you, Gautam.
Yeah. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone who has joined this webinar from different time zones. Welcome to Covion's webinar, which is Supply Invoice to Payment. Let's get started. This is myself. I'm Gautam S, working as an Oracle ERP Techno-Function Consultant at Covion Consulting. Was past 3 years of experience in financial modules and ERP modules. So this is the agenda for today's topic, which is overview of suppliers, supplier invoice to payment process, and the demonstration of how supplier invoice to payment actually works, key consideration and the takeaways from this webinar. And the last part is the question and answers where you can ask me questions. So the first one is overview of supplier. A supplier is an external party or an individual company or an organization that provides goods and services to a business. Supplier records are centrally managed and used across multiple modules such as procurement, accounts payable, supplier qualification, supplier portal and sourcing, and reports and analytics. I'll give you a little brief about what is in each and every step in the overview of supplier. So first comes the procurement. In procurement, we used to create and manage purchase orders to the suppliers, source goods and services through supplier negotiations and RFQs, manage supplier catalogs and pricing. So this comes under the procurement. In accounts payable, we used to process the invoices submitted by suppliers, manage the payments and track outstanding dues, record and track the tax and bank information for suppliers. This we used to do in account payables. The next one is supplier qualification. Supplier qualification assess the qualified suppliers using questionnaires, scorings, and audits, ensuring compliance with company standards, which includes certifications, financial stabilities. What are the qualification that we are allocate from the supplier? We can do that. The next one is supplier portal. It allows the supplier to register and update their details, view purchase orders, and submit invoices online. It also enhances supplier collaboration and transparency. In supplier sourcing, suppliers are participate in sourcing events such as auctions, RFIs, and RFQs, and evaluate and award the contract based on supplier responses. The next and final part is reports and analytics, where we used to load and detect the data of supplier, where we used to spend data which the supplier holds in the procurement and account payables, and we can extract the data using the reports, and we can also view using the OTBI dashboards and everything. So this comes under reports and analytics. So this is the quite a simple overview of a supplier. The next one is a supplier invoice to the payment. So this is the business process key component of our financial operations and covers the end-to-end journey of receiving and processing invoices. from suppliers, auditing and approvals, payment processing to timely closure of payable periods. So this consists of 6 steps, which mainly capturing of invoices approvals, prepayments and discounts, settling the liabilities, which is settling the payments and invoices to the respective banks to the suppliers, and monitoring the daily activity and closing the payables period. Let me get into the detailed description of each and every process which I've mentioned in the process of supply invoice to the payment. The first one is capturing of supplier invoices. Supplier invoices to the payment process begins with capturing of supply invoices which are submitted electronically via EDI, supplier portal, email with optical character recognition to extract the data. The intelligent document recognition feature automates the extraction, classification, and processing of invoice data from documents such as PDFs or images. IDR uses machine learning and AI to identify the key data points such as invoice numbers, supplier details, line items, and amounts, eliminating the need of manual data entry. So, Oracle Fusion also supports manual entry for exceptional cases and bulk uploads through the spreadsheet. Captured invoices, once that are validated, are sent to the approval for the invoices. So this is the capture of supply invoices. The next process is invoice approvals. In invoice approvals, we use the audits, disputes, and approvals. Once the invoice is captured, it goes through the invoice auditing, where automated rules review invoices for discrepancies such as incorrect amounts, duplicates, or mismatches with purchase orders. Any identified discrepancies are flagged as disputes, promoting the collaboration between supplier and internal teams to resolve the issues through adjustments or credit notes. With all actions are tracked for accountability, and once all the disputes are resolved, invoice the process through automated approval workflow based upon the predefined rules, which can be serial or parallel or approval groups or user defined role approval groups can be configured according to the need for the supplier level and the user who is creating the supplier. We can configure that also to in the invoice approvals. The next process is prepayments and the discounts. Once the invoices are approved, Oracle Fusion schedules the payments based upon due dates, cash flow priorities, and discount opportunities. Payments can be made via electronic transfers, checks, virtual cards, all with integrated security controls. The system generates payment files for secure transmission to the banks, automatically updates the ledger, and perform bank reconciliation after the payments, minimizing the manual intervention and errors while enhancing the financial management. So this is the process of prepayments and the discounts. It also uses dynamic discounting and machine learning techniques to optimize the offering and negotiation discounts with the suppliers. For prepayments, the system records the advance payments against supplier accounts, automatically applies to them in future invoices. This accurate tracking and reconciliation of prepayments while maintaining the compliance with financial policies, where we can use the prepayments as an early payment to the supplier while we creating the invoice. The next one is settling of liabilities. In settling of liabilities, we used to send the invoices and the payments based upon the due dates to the bank. We can either use payment files or the payment process requests to send those invoices and payments which we are captured in Oracle Fusion through the bank by using payment process request. This automatically helps to move all the files which I have created for one single supplier in a month through the payment process request. So this does not require any manual checking or manual intervention. So this automatic way improves our technical financial management and minimize the manual intervention on the Oracle Fusion application. So the next one is the live demonstration of supply invoice to the payment. So now we can get into the Oracle Fusion system. So this is the home page of Oracle Fusion Financials. So I'm now heading over to Payables module. Under Invoices, task area, I'm opening to create an invoice. So this is the create invoice page where it consists of invoice header, lines, taxes, and totals. So in invoice header, first we are choosing the business unit. I'm choosing the business unit as India Staffing, and we are creating the invoice for a specific supplier. So I'm searching for the supplier. So this is the supplier which I have taken for to create the invoice. So I'm giving the random number for the invoice which we are creating. 34678, and giving the amount as 20,000 for this invoice. So this is the invoice date which I have mentioned, which is 20th of August. Next comes under the line section. So in numbers and type, I am choosing it as item, and the amount I can give it as 20,000. And I'm also choosing the distribution set, which has the distribution combination of several account combination which exist predefinedly. So this is the accounting date which I have mentioned here. So we are not using any of the taxes or any of the withholding taxes right now currently. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to save the invoice. So the invoice is saved. It says that it is not validated. So I'm checking why it is not validated. Okay. I'm I'm clicking on invoice actions to validate the invoice. It says needs revalidation. So it is having one of the system holes. So it says that you must specify the default tax rate code with the tax system. We are not using any of the taxes right now. So I'm releasing the hold as validated now. I'm releasing it manually for this hold. So the invoice is validated now. We can send the approval for the invoice, which is invoice actions approval and initiate for the invoice approval. Invoice approval has been done. So I'm closing this one. I'm logging into the other user where I need to approve the invoice which I have initiated for the approval. I think it is taking time to update. Login back again. Yeah, this is the invoice which we have created before on the other user, which is of 20,000. So I am approving the invoice right here. Okay, from the notifications tab from the another user. So now the invoice has been approved. I'm logging back to the old user where we created the invoice. So I'm moving to the payable section under invoices. We can also view the updation where it says that approval of invoices has been approved. So we can also see it from here. I'm searching for the invoice which we have created. So under actions, I'm editing the invoice. If I click on validated, it says approval workflow approved, and it shows other details too. So once it has been approved, I'm applying the prepayments for this invoice. I think we have the prepayment of around 24,000 is available as a prepayment. So I am choosing it as we can apply around 10,000 as a prepayment. So prepayment has been applied here. So I'm clicking on done. So it says the revalidation needs to be done again. So now the invoice has been validated. So now we have to account the draft of the invoice. We have to account the invoice. We're accounting it. The accounting has been completed. Now we have to post this invoice to the general ledger. So I'm posting the invoice to the general ledger. The accounting has also been completed. So now we can save and close this invoice. Heading over to the home page. In payments area, from the taskbar, I'm submitting payment process request. So this is the payment process request where we used to send the invoices to the bank level where they used to clear the invoices amounts and send back to the supplier. So I can give the random name as guest one. Okay, I'm giving the today's date as payment pay from date and pay through date, which calculates the all of the invoices which have been created today, and we need to set up a template for this payment process request. I'm choosing the payment template. I'm selecting the supplier here. So in the selection criteria, we have completed all of the things which we need to give. So I'm choosing the payment and processing options. In payment and processing options, it displays about the payment date, disbursement bank, the bank which we are sending the invoices and the payments, the payment document, payment profile name, and processing options, where it used to give the review of installments, review of proposed payments, and create the payments files immediately. So what we are going to do is submit the payment process request. So we can just check it from here itself, but for the for checking purpose, I'm using manage payment process request, and I'm choosing the today's date as creation date. So it says that the installments have been selected and it is pending for the installments review. We can click on under actions the arrow button. shows the installments which we have created today. I think we have invoiced for 20,000 rupees, and we have applied the prepayment of 10,000 rupees. So that displays here. So we can submit this payment process profile. The installments are selected now. It takes some time to do the process. So this is the pending proposed payment review, where we can check the payment which is created for the invoice. So this displays about the payment business unit, payee, and the amount, and the bank account, and this is the reference number, which is invoice number, and the document name, the amount to be paid, and the document about is 20,000. The amount is paid to be 10,000. So I'm choosing resume payment process. So the payment file processing has been done, and payment file processing has been created, and it is ready for formatting. So it has been formatted, and it is ready for recording. So this is the payment reference and the payment file summary, which would be automatically created when we submit the payment process request. So I'm clicking on submit, and it says that uh, is the payment files are completed and processed by the payment system. So if it has not been processed, we cannot reverse the payments which are confirmed. So payment has been checked, so I'm saying as record the print status. So now the payment file is confirmed and printed, and it is sent to the bank level. If you are having the bank portal, we can check it from there. So right now I'm heading again to the home page. So this is the live demonstration of how the supply invoice to the payment actually works. And after this, we can monitor the daily activity of the account payable activities to ensure the accuracy and compliance, and Oracle dashboards to check the invoices and operations which have done for the payments and the invoices which we have created, and for the reconciliation we can identify that too. And we can also identify the invoice aging, and key performance indicators of payment processing times and exception reports can be also identified. And we can also check what are the payments have been validated and not validated, and the payments which have been paid and not paid, we can all can be seen from one single dashboard from the payables module. So this is about the monitoring of daily activity. The next one is closing of payable periods. So this is the final process and the step in the supply invoice to the payment, where we can identify all of the invoices and the payments which we have created has been accounted, and it is posted in the journal ledger. And once this has been done, we can how to say, we can check the unaccounted transactions and unaccounted payment activity and payments through running the process called sweep transactions and unaccounted payables from the schedule process. So that report identifies which are the payments and invoices have been not accounted, and we should account them, and after that only we can try to close the payable periods from the general ledger. So this is the process of closing of payable periods. The next one is key consideration and the takeaways. In key consideration, it consists of the considerations which we need to from the point of business needs, we need to configure that according to that. So we can explore what we can do in each and every area of supply invoice to the payment. So the first comes under this is the supplier invoice capturing, where this process requires invoice volume, supply preferences, and integration capabilities like flexible options to identify the intelligent document recognition with the IDR, with A and ML, to scan the supply invoices in various formats such as JPG, document, and the image, and it also creates the AP invoices automatically in a touchless manner. So yeah, I think you have seen how fast we can create the invoice in the supplier sorry, in the invoice area where we created now. It also includes the optical character recognition, electronic data interchange, and the supplier portals. And it also supports the manual entry and spreadsheet uploads at exception levels. If you are trying to upload the bulk amount of invoices at one single time, you can use the spreadsheet to upload those invoices through spreadsheet, and you can use it from the Oracle Fusion. So this can be done. And for the invoice approval flows, there is an option of serial approval, where the hierarchy would be the first user which is creating the invoice, and next it can be moved to the line manager, and next to the higher level manager can be approved like that. Or else you can form a group of approval groups, which is basically consist up of 3 to 4 users, can be allocated in one role, and we can configure that role, and we can allocate to the all users. So, where any one of the approver can approve the invoice, so that also can be done from the invoice approval flows. And based upon the job role and the position also, we can keep the invoice approval flows. So invoice holes is the hole which we have seen in the demo is an manual hole which I released it. But for in some cases we can also configure the systematic holes which missing of tax, withholding taxes, or missing of uh, tax issues, or how to say the approval is missing from one part of one user. So that can also be done from this areas. So the next one is of payment distributions. So this comes under the payment methods. Is what are the payment methods can be allocated or defined on the bank level. So only that process can be approved from the payment configuration, where we use the payable payment process request, and need to schedule the payments like due dates and the cash flows, how it actually works. And these also can be scheduled from in the payments module. The next one is the automation process, how it reduces the errors which we face in the supply Oracle Fusion, and it also enhances the efficiency, and it also supports the effective cash management in touchless manner, where we can go through the end-to-end process in a single flow without having any manual intervention or something like that. So that also need to be taken. So this is the key consideration and the takeaways from the webinar. Next one is the queries to discuss.
Yes.
Do you have any
Thank-
queries?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gautam. It was really insightful session, to see how Oracle Fusion automates and streamlines the invoice to payment process.
Yeah.
So let's take a couple of questions. I think we've already reached the end of like 30 minutes, but yes,
Yeah.
we could take a couple of questions that has come in. Okay. So what are the prerequisites before closing the payables accounting period in Oracle?
That is what before closing the period, we have to ensure that all the invoices or payments are accounted. We have, if it is not accounted, mean we have to run the create accounting process from the schedule processes, and after create accounting process have been run, and we have to run the unaccounted transaction sweep report. If some transactions cannot be deleted, if in some cases they have mentioned of some amounts, but after some time they would say, the client would say that amounts and that invoice is not required, so we cannot delete that invoice at that level before accounting. So it would be validated and it would have been approved. So that invoices needs to be moved to the next period. So we can open the next period. Currently we are in the August period. So if we are opening this September period, means if we run the unaccounted transaction sweep report, means the invoices which is not required for the accounting can be swept to the next period, and we can close the current period. So I think this answers my question.
Perfect. All right, Gautam. I hope that was helpful. I could take just one more, maybe two more questions. What is
Yeah,
the purpose of the invoice workbench in Oracle Payables?
yeah. Invoice workbench is a window where we can enter and adjust the review of invoices and invoices batches. So invoice workbench is while creating, after approving, we headed over to the payables module, and we have searched for the invoice which we have created, right? So that is the invoice workbench area where we can adjust the amounts, and we can adjust the um, tax classification and withholding taxes. So that can be done from that area. So that is the invoice workbench.
Perfect. So, what are the approval workflow options in Oracle BPM, Business Process Management?
So
That
that
is
is
one
what
more question. Yeah.
serial approval or a parallel approval, or approval based on the superior visory level, or positional level, or approval groups. The serial
Hmm.
approval flow will flows like the one person should approve, and after that, that approve should move to the next person. Then it should move to the next person. So in serially, the three of them should approve the invoice. So then only the invoice gets approved. A parallel approve for it moves like in the parallel form, where any one of the approval can approve the invoice, and invoice gets approved. In supervisory level, the main manager or main, how to say, a senior level manager should approve the invoice, instead of if it is if already a user or a line manager is approved, but the important, or how to say, a mandatory one can be approved from the manager or superior level, like that we have to approve. And the approval groups is grouping of some of the users in one single role and assigning that role into the users. So any one of them can, but approval go to the all persons in at a time. So anyone can approve the invoice. So
Got it. All right, Gautam. So, in the interest of time, I'm not taking any more questions, though we have a couple more coming in. So, we would take them maybe one on one. So I would like to thank everyone today for joining the session, and we hope the insights on automating the invoice capture, approvals, and the financial close in Oracle Fusion were really valuable. And if you'd like to see how these capabilities can be tailored to your organization, we'd be very happy to set up a personalized demo or a follow-up discussion. So if you have more questions that are not answered today, or you haven't put in your answers, but then you had to run right now, so you could definitely come back to us, and we'd be very happy to set up a personalized demo and a follow-up discussion. We'll also be sharing the recording and resources shortly, and we look forward to staying connected. So thank you once again, Gautam, for this wonderful session. Hope
yeah.
it was useful for all of the attendees today. And thank you all, and see you again in the next webinar. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all for joining this webinar.
Thank you, Gautam.